Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Just give me check my. All right. So today the topic that we will discuss the grade 9 maths logic, and these are the names of the chapter: logic and variable expressions and equations. Okay? So here is the name of the chapter, that is a logic. So these are the two lessons for that: identify hypothesis and conclusion and the counterexamples. So basically, um, first of all, we discuss like what is the basically hypothesis. Okay, for example, if we like hypothesis is basically the data in which we can neither be verified. Okay, like nor shown to be false. Like in statistics, sometime we are saying that all the data that can be accurate, and then we are saying that this is basically the thing. Let's for example, if we are saying that, like, just taking the example of the quadrilateral triangle. Okay, we are saying that this quadrilateral, all four sides of quadrilateral have same, then it means that quadrilateral is a square. Or the if we are using some different examples, like there are different kinds of hypotheses. Some is a simple hypothesis, some is a complex, some is directionals, like all these things. Okay, like for example, if you're talking about like the students, like the students who eat the breakfast will perform better as compared to the in the exams, basically as compared to the students who do not eat breakfast, because their minds. Okay, so this can be basically the complex hypothesis, and this can also be verified. Okay, so this is a basically hypothesis. If we are write down there according to the, are you guys able to see my screen? Just give me check. Okay, so hypothesis is basically a theory or a guess. Okay, so we can say that, like, sometime we are saying that it's a theory, or you can say that it's a some guess. So this is basically the hypothesis. It's like sometime it's like an idea that you can test through the study and experiments. So these all things can be hypothesis. So let's just open this lesson. So here is the question, like, what's the conclusion in this conditional statement? And here the statement is given: if our pet is a mouse, okay, then it has a tail. Like here is the question: if our pet is a mouse, then it has a tail. So what's the conclusion for that? Basically, if our pet is a mouse, then it has a tail. It means that, like, this is a conditional statement, and there are two basically the things. The first is hypothesis, then we conclude it. Okay, first we just make some experiment, we just study, then we guess, and then in the end we conclude the statement. So here are the basically two options, like A and B. So your first option would always be hypothesis, and the second one is inclusion. So if you are saying that, if your conditional statement is like, if our pet is a mouse, like if and then statement here, we also use these two things in, if we are talking about, so we are using if and then. Okay, and always be using a and b parts. So what is the first part? That is hypothesis, and what is the second part? That is the conclusion. So here we are using if and then. So what does it mean? It means that if is basically, if your pet is a mouse, then it has a tail. Am I right? So here two things are used, if and then. So it becomes conclusion is part B, because in the part A they are saying that if our pet is a mouse, so then it has a tail. But if the mouse is not exist, then it means that there is no tail. So in the statement after the thing, that is your conclusion, so which state that our pet has a tail. That's it. Let's do the part B for that. Question number 2. Let's check. So what is the conclusion in this conditional statement? If a city is in the United States, then it's in the North America. Okay? If a city is in the United States, if and then look at here, there is again two conditions like A and B. Your A is already a hypothesis and your B is basically the conclusion. So we just check it. What's the conditional statement can be written as A and B. So your A is hypothesis, as we know that, and your B is conclusion. So notice that the given conditional statement is if and then. Sorry about that. Given conditionals if and then. So if a city is in the United States, then in the North America. So is the conclusion. What's the part in the conclusion? After, like then. So then it's North America. So we say that the city is in the North America. That's it. Let's do that question. What's the hypothesis in this conditional statement? Now we are talking about the hypothesis, not the conclusion. You must know like the conclusion is always the last part and hypothesis is always the before the conclusion. We first we can like hypothesis, then we conclude like what's our result. So here, if Alara is throwing a big party, okay, if Alara is throwing a big party, then she needs to rent a ballroom. So what's the hypothesis in this conditional statement? Always the first term, like the A part. So what's the A part here? A part is if. If Lara is throwing a big party, so this is your hypothesis, and then she needs to rent a ballroom. That is your conclusion. So we say that Lara is throwing a big party. That's it. This is your hypothesis. Okay, let's do one more question for that. Then you are more able to clear. So what's the conclusion in this conditional statement? If a number is even, then the number divided by 2 is an integer. Again is here if and then. So we just divide into two parts like A and B. So the A part is always the hypothesis and the B part is always your conclusion. So we just check it. A is hypothesis and B is in the conclusion. So we notice that, and always your how much your condition. There are two conditional statement. What are the conditional statement? I already if and then. These are the conditional statements. And your part A and B, that is your hypothesis and that is your conclusion. And these both are the conditional statements. Okay, these are both are your conditional statements. So here are the two conditional statement, that is if and then, and there are two basically parts, that is A and B. The first part is always hypothesis and the second part is your conclusion, which is called B here. So we just need to conclude basically in that question we write the conclusion. So the second part, as we know at the conclusion, So part, if number is even, that is your hypothesis. Now how can we conclude if your number is even? Then the number divided by 2 is an integer. So that is your conclusion. We say that the number divided by 2 is an integers. What is the conclusion in this conditional statement? Again, if Matt wants to play video games, then he needs to finish his homework. Conditional statement depends upon the two things like if and then form. And your first part A is hypothesis and your B is basically conclusion. What is the part A? That is if Matt wants to play video games. And the B part, that is then he needs to finish his homework, which is your conclusion. Okay? Alright then. So there are different counterexamples related to that. You just need to check it out. This is again same all things. Let's do it this. Which of the following is the counterexample for this conditional statement? Okay, if a three-dimensional solid has six faces, here they're talking about the three-dimensional solids has a fixed six faces, then it's cube. Let's check again. Conditional statement can be expressed as if and then, and in the if and then, if is always A and then is always B, because if is hypothesis and then is your conclusion. Okay, these things are clear. Then we just need to know the counterexample, like hypothesis is true but the conclusion is false. If you can find a counterexample to a conditional statement, so that is a false, because three dimension solid has six faces, then it is a cube. So we know that, sorry, so we know that if you have basically like any pyramids, rectangular pyramids, first we try over there. So the hypothesis is false. Sometime hypothesis is false, sometime the conclusion is false. Okay, if you are talking about like the rectangular prism, so your hypothesis is true. Why? Because in the rectangular prism has six faces. Because in the first thing hypothesis is wrong, so it means that conclusion is also wrong. So here the hypothesis is true, it means rectangular prism has six faces. So what's the conclude? That is false, because the rectangular prism is not a cube. If it's prism, then it has six faces. So your conclusion is wrong because the rectangular prism is not a cube. Okay, so here is the counter example that make your hypothesis true and conclusion false. Okay, okay, let's just try one more. Here they are using the cylinder. So here is the hypothesis is false. Why? Because the cylinder doesn't have six faces. Okay, so a counterexample must make the hypothesis true. So this is not a counterexample because the cylinder doesn't have six faces. So in a summary, we just conclude that a counterexample is a rectangular prism. Why? Because in the rectangular prism has six faces, but the rectangular prism is not a cube. Hypothesis is right, but the conclusion is wrong in that case. This is it. Let's do the next chapter, which is variable expression and equations. First of all, we just check what is what is a variable expressions and equations. Let's just write a definition for that. So here I'm going to write variable expression variable expressions and equations. So what is basically expression and equations? Like, look, expression is basically a numbers, okay, like a different variables. Like, you can say that, for example, if you sum 8 and 3, okay, like when you add sum 8 and 3, now it becomes 11. This is basically the expression, okay. Like in this way we just gonna write it, sum of 8 and 3, sum of 8 and 3 is equal to 11. This is a word example, and that is your expression. This is your expression, like 8 plus 3. If we are going to say that, add 5 and 6, this is your word. Now when you add it, this is your expression, okay. Now let's check what is variable expression. In basically variable we just include some symbols, letters, then we just change some values. So in the variable expression, that includes the variables, okay. Like for examples, here is variable expression, that is 3, then x, this is variable expression, then plus with 10. So in this way we just use, that is an algebraic expression, okay. So we just add some symbols, some letters with it, like different symbols, x, it's not only x, like different symbols you are using, x, m, b, p, l, any number, any symbols that you are using, okay. Then mostly basically if we are talking about like variables, so mostly likely we are using the variables x, y and z. These are basically to represent unknown values, am I right? To represent unknown values, and expressions already know about it. So variables can on different values, it, it doesn't mean like variable has only one values. For example, these are different values, okay. All right, so let's get start. So identify the equivalent linear expression. So what is the equivalent linear expression? Let's check that thing. Equivalent linear expressions are basically that have same values, okay. So what is equivalent equivalent linear expressions? Equivalent linear expressions. So equivalent linear expressions are that have same values, okay. If you have two linear expressions, for example, then these are equivalents to one another, then you plug the same values, okay, so you will get the same result in each of it. Got it or not? For example, if I'm going to say that, like here is 5 and x, then here is 2 and x. Now you put the value 2, or you put the value in places of x is same value, then you get the answer in both sides are same. Let's just take some example for that. For example, if I'm going to choose like mm, let's taking some example, okay, that is equivalent linear expression, okay. So for that example I'm going to use let's take example from there. So which expression is equivalent to 4 into 2h? Okay, so here are two expression. There are two expressions are given, like 4 into 2h. I'm going to write it here, 4 into 2 then h. Now you tell me what's the answer for that. It's just simply multiply here. Okay, just simply multiply. So 4 times 2 is 8h. Now this 4 into 2h is equivalent to 8h. Got it? Which expression is equivalent to 9p plus 3p? Look at here. They're saying that 9p plus 3p. These both have same, so we just only add the constants. We are not adding the variables. Okay? You're not adding the variables. You always adding the constants. Now add constant with 9 with 3. So 9 plus 3 is it's 12p. Okay, let's do the one more. For example, if we're gonna choose like here is the 4x plus 7x. Okay, so you tell me when we count, so what we got the answer for that? 4 plus 7, that is 11x. So it means that this 11x is equivalent to both these 4x plus 7x. Okay, let's just take some example from a plus here. So which expression is equivalent to 3 into m plus 9? Okay, let's do that one. Let me just check for that. So p into m plus 9. So multiply 3 with both these numbers, because here 3 is multiply with both these numbers, 3 with m, then 3 with 9. My voice is clear? Okay. So first of all, when you multiply 3 with m, what's the answer? 3m. Okay. And then it's plus sign here. Now 3 with 9. So what's the answer? 3 times 9 is, so the 3 times 9 is 27. This is basically equivalent. And here you apply which property? Here you apply, the distributive property. Okay, all right, let's take some again example. For example, here is 10, then x plus 4. All right, so which property you apply here? Distributive property. And now just simply multiplication. So when you multiply 10 with x, what you got the answer for that? So 10 with x is like 10x plus 10 with 4, that is 40. So this is the distributive property here. And we can say that this 10 into x plus 4, that is equals to 10x plus 40. So these are equivalent expressions. Okay. All right, let's do next. So here is the question: which expression is equivalent to 3g plus 9g? Let's do it that way. So it's again like simply addition. Now tell me what's the answer. 3 plus 9g, that is 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 12g. So we can say that 3g plus 9g, this is simply addition, is equals to 12g. That is the equivalent expression. Okay. All right, then. Okay, I'm going to write here a question. All right, so here is 12x minus 7x. So what's the answer when you subtracted 12x minus 7x? So what is the equivalent expression for that? 12x minus 7x. So when you subtract it, it becomes 5x. So we're gonna say that these basically 12x minus 7x is equivalent expression to this 5x. Okay. Now let's take some multiplication. Here I'm going to write 9 into 7 plus x plus 2x. This is just same thing. First of all, not this thing, only the 2x. Okay, so tell me, how can we write this? What is the equivalent expression of 9 into 7 plus 2x? So the equivalent expression of this 9 times 7, first of all multiply 9 with 7. So this becomes 63 plus 9. Now here 9 is multiplied with 2, not with this variable. Okay, always multiply with the constant. So 9 times 2 is 18 and x as it is. So we can say that this full is equivalent expression to that one. Okay. All right, now let's just do the test question for that. Okay, let's check. Which expression is equivalent to 3 into m plus 9? Let's solve. 3 into m plus 9. First of all, just gonna multiply 3 with m. This becomes 3m plus 3 times 9 is 27. Let's check, is there any option for 3m plus 27 here? Yes, the first option, 3m plus 27. Let's check. Yes, is that right? Let's do this one. Which expression is equivalent to 2 into 4u? This is just simply multiplication. Look at here, 2 into 4u. Just simply multiply. 2 times 4 is 8u. Let's check, is there any option for 8u? Yes, third one. So which expression is equivalent to 6x plus 5s? It's just simply addition now. Add 6 with 5 and s is same. So your 6 plus 5, that is 11, and s is same. Is there any option for 11? You're not writing like s11 because here is first is constants, then it's s. So we just write it 11s. Okay, not s11, because here is like 6 s then plus 5s, because first is constant here, so we just write first constant, then its variable, so we just write it here. Okay. All right, so which expression is equivalent to 5 into a plus 7? Let's do that one. Here is your 5, then a plus 7. Simply multiply 5 with a and 5 with 7. So, what's the answer when you multiply 5 with a? That becomes 5a plus 5 with 7, 35. Let's check, is there any option for 5a plus 35? Yes, the option A. Look at here, there is also the option D, that is 35a. So you are not putting that option because here is a with the 5 and then 35 is separate. So solve this one. Which expression is equivalent to 7 into q plus 2? First is 7q plus 14. Is there any option for 7q plus 14? Yes, it's the first one. So we just click it. Okay. So which expression is equivalent to 7j plus j? Look at here now. There is 7j plus j. It means that with the j there is 1. Okay? You are not written like 7j as it is because there is 1, it's addition, so it's become 8j. Let's check, is there any option for 8j? Here is look, j8, so this is not right. 8j is the right option. Hope you guys understand this variable expression and equation lesson. Identify equivalent linear expressions. Now let's do the next lesson for that. Which x satisfies an equation? Okay, let's do that one. So, what value of q is a solution to this equation? Here are basically we just need to satisfy the equations. How can we satisfy the equations? For example, first of all, I'm going to tell you like, for example, here is some like this thing, and this is an equation like in this form, and value of x is given. Like value of x is, first value of x is 3, then they gave the value of x is 2. We just need to put first of all this value in that equation, then we put this value in that equation, then we check right hand side that is equals to left hand side, so our answer satisfy, otherwise we're saying that that is wrong. So first of all we put x3. Okay, so here is 7 as it is, plus in place of x I'm going to put first x3. Here is 10 as it is, so 7 plus 3 is 10, that is equals to 10. It means that x is equals to 3 satisfy this equation because we have got the same answers of left hand side as well as right hand side. Okay, now let's do the question related to that. Here is a question that is q plus 10 that is equals to 11, and what value of q is the solution to this equation? So q plus 10 that is equals to 11. So now you think about which value of q you put it, then you add with 10, and then you got the answer 11. Think about it, and then so we put q that is equals to 1. Let's put it 1 plus 10 which is equals to 11, that is equals to 11. So it means that when you put q is equals to 1, so this equation satisfy. Okay, let's do the next. What value of p is a solution to this equation? 9 plus p, that is equals to 21. 9 plus p, that is equal to 21. So which value of p? You put it here. Which value of p? Now you put, then you got the answer 21. So 9 plus which value, then you get the answer 21. It's 12. 9 plus 12 is 21. So we say that when your p is equals to 12, then this equation satisfy. Okay, all right, let's solve one more question. What value of u is a solution to this equation? 5u is equals to 35. Now here is multiplication. 5 is multiplied with the u. Okay, if there is no sign in between both of it, it means that there is multiplication. So 5 is multiplied with u here. So which number you gonna multiply with the u, then you got the answer 35. 5 times which number is 35? 5 times, so when you put u 7 in this equation, 5 into 7, that is equals to 35. So 5 times 7 is 35. This is equals to 35. Here our equation is satisfied. Okay, let's do the next. What value of v is a solution to this equation? This is again same now. 3v is equals to 3. So yeah, this is basically the simple 3v. So which value of v you put it, then you get the answer 3. It means that 1, because 3 is already given. When you multiply 3 with 1, then you get the answer 3. Okay, then what value of r is a solution to this equation? 12 plus r is equals to 12. 12, 12 plus r. Okay, so which value of r you put it here, then you get the same answer. Which value? R is equals to 0, because here is addition. So 12 plus 0, that is equals to 12. It means that when you add 0 with something, then you get the same answer. So in this way your equation satisfy. Got it? All right, hope you guys understand this thing. Now let's do this one. What value of c is a solution to this equation? C plus 18, that is equals to 24. C plus 18, that is equals to 24. So here is plus 18 as it is, 24 as it is. So which value of c you put it, then you get the answer 18. If you know it, like how much you add with 18, then you get the answer 24. It means that in the 18 you only add with 6, then you get the answer 24. It means that c is equals to 6, then this equation satisfies. So 18 plus 6 is 24, that is equals to 24. Got it? Okay, let's do some test question for that. All right, now let's do some test questions. So what value of s is a solution to this equation? 7s is equals to 14. Here value is given, that is 7s is equals to 14. So at which s value you put it, then you get the answer 14. 7 times which number is 14? 7 times 1 is 7 and 7 times 2 is 14. Got it? So here we're gonna choose s is equals to 2. Yes, that is right. Let's do this. What value of z is a solution to this equation? 8z, that is equals to 24. So which number you gonna multiply with 8? Here is again multiplication. 8 is multiply with z. Okay. So which number you gonna multiply with 8? Then you get the answer 24. Let's check. Two options are given, 3 and 5. When you multiply 8 with 5, what's the answer? That is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. Okay. And when you multiply 8 with 3, then 8 times 3 is 24. It means that this option A is right. Okay. All right. Let's do this. What value of q is a solution to this equation? Q plus 10, that is equals to 11. Two options are given. Q plus 10, that is equals to 11. Two options are given. First one, q is equals to 1. Second one, q is equals to 2. Put in place of q is 1 plus 10, that is 11. It means that option A is right. Okay. So here we're gonna click in the option A. Let's do this. What value of z is the solution to this equation? Again, 7 is multiplied with the z, that is equals to 70. So 7 times which number? Two options are given. 7 times 8 and 7 times 10. So what's the answer when 7 times 8? 7 times 8 is 56. It means that is not the option. And 7 times 10 is, that is 70. So it means that that is the option. Now, what value of y is a solution to this equation? 3y is equals to 33. Two options are given again. Y is 11 and y is 12. When you multiply 3 with 11, that is 33. So it means that first option is right. C plus 18, that is equals to 24. We already know this question. We already have done this question now. So when you put C 6 or you put C 7, so just add it with 18 6 and also add with 18 7. Then you just check your answer. Like if you add 6, then 6 plus 18 becomes 24. Hope you guys understand this lesson. And now just see you in the next session. So if you still need any help in any of the question, then you just contact on the Skype. Tutors are available there 5 to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday. Okay. So you guys take care of yourselves now. Have a good day. Bye.